December 25, 2004. Carlo Acutis woke up at 4 a.m., walked quietly to his family's nativity scene, and did something his mother would later discover changed everything about that Christmas. He carefully placed his rosary in a specific position within the nativity, prayed a prayer he'd never prayed before, and left it there for the entire day. What happened over the next 24 hours shocked his entire family and led to a practice that has since produced documented miracles in families around the world who have followed his example. But here's what will disturb you. Most Catholics have no idea that Christmas Day holds special power for the Rosary, that there's a specific way to position it and pray with it on December 25th that activates graces unavailable any other day of the year. Carlo discovered this through a revelation he received, tested it that Christmas morning, and documented the results in his private journal with one simple statement: it works. Christmas and the Rosary together create something supernatural that I can't fully explain, but that I absolutely experienced. What was this practice? Why did Carlo believe December 25th was uniquely powerful for the Rosary? And what happens when you follow his exact instructions for keeping your Rosary in a specific way on Christmas Day? The answers will transform how you celebrate Christmas and give you access to graces that most Catholics never tap into. Because what you're about to discover isn't just pious tradition or religious symbolism. It's a concrete spiritual practice that produces measurable results when done correctly. Families who have followed Carlo's Christmas Rosary practice report healings, conversions, financial breakthroughs, and restored relationships within days of Christmas. The pattern is too consistent to be coincidence and too documented to be dismissed as imagination. Hit that like button right now if you're ready to learn a Christmas practice that could change everything about how your family experiences this sacred day. And subscribe immediately, because what Carlo revealed about Christmas and the Rosary needs to reach every Catholic before December 25th. Turn on notifications, because missing this could mean missing the most powerful spiritual opportunity of the entire year. Let me start by explaining how Carlo discovered this practice, because understanding the revelation makes the practice more powerful. In early December 2004, Carlo was 13 years old and deeply devoted to both the Eucharist and the Rosary. He had been praying the Rosary daily for 6 years, and he was constantly thinking about Mary's role in salvation history. One night in early December, Carlo couldn't sleep. He was lying in bed thinking about the connection between Mary and Jesus, between the Rosary and the Incarnation, between prayer and Christmas. According to his journal entry from that night, he had what he described as a moment of clarity that felt like it came from outside myself, like someone was teaching me something I couldn't have figured out on my own. The insight was this: Christmas Day is the anniversary of the moment when the Word became flesh in Mary's womb. It's the day we celebrate Jesus taking on human nature through Mary. And the Rosary is the prayer that meditates on the mysteries of Jesus' life, beginning with that very moment of the Incarnation. Therefore, praying the Rosary on Christmas Day, in a specific way that honors both Jesus' birth and Mary's role in it, should release special graces that connect to that original moment when divinity entered humanity. Carlo wrote, "If Christmas is about God becoming man through Mary, and the Rosary is about meditating on Jesus through Mary, then Christmas must be a special day for the Rosary. There must be something powerful about connecting these two realities on this specific day." Drop a comment if this connection between Christmas and the Rosary is something you've never thought about before. Your response helps others see they're not alone in missing this truth. But Carlo didn't just have this insight and leave it theoretical. He decided to test it practically. And that's where the specific practice came from, the practice that has now been documented to produce remarkable results. On Christmas Eve 2004, Carlo prepared for what he was going to do the next morning. He took his personal Rosary, the one he prayed with daily, and he prayed over it a special prayer asking Mary to bless it specifically for Christmas Day. Then, On Christmas morning at 4 a.m., before anyone else in his family was awake, Carlo went to their nativity scene. The Acutis family had a traditional Italian presepio, a beautiful nativity scene set up in their living room. According to Antonia, Carlo's mother, Carlo carefully placed his rosary in a very specific position. He draped it around the figures of Mary and baby Jesus in the manger, so that the beads encircled them both, and he positioned the crucifix so that it was touching the infant Jesus figure. Then Carlo knelt before the nativity scene and prayed what his journal records as the Christmas Rosary prayer. This wasn't a rosary itself, but a prayer to be said while the rosary rests in the nativity scene on Christmas Day. The prayer connected the mysteries of the rosary with the mystery of the Incarnation celebrated on Christmas. Carlo left his rosary in that position throughout Christmas Day. He didn't touch it or move it. He simply left it encircling Mary and Jesus in the nativity scene, allowing it to rest there, absorbing, as he believed, special Christmas grace. That evening, after midnight mass and after his family had gone to bed, Carlo returned to the nativity scene, picked up his rosary, and prayed a complete 15-decade rosary with it. He wrote in his journal that this rosary felt different from any he'd ever prayed before. It was like the beads were charged with something, he wrote. Every Hail Mary felt more powerful. Every mystery felt more real. I can't explain it scientifically, but I know something supernatural happened. Share this video immediately if you're feeling drawn to try Carlo's Christmas Rosary practice this year. Someone in your network needs this revelation before December 25th. But the real proof came in the days and weeks following that Christmas. Carlo documented several things that happened which he attributed directly to the Christmas Rosary practice. First, his grandmother, who had been suffering from chronic arthritis pain for years, experienced sudden relief starting on December 26th. The pain that had required daily medication simply decreased dramatically. She was able to move without discomfort for the first time in years. Carlo had specifically prayed for her healing during his Christmas night rosary. Second, a friend of Carlo's father who had been out of work for 8 months received a job offer on December 27th. This was someone Carlo had been praying for regularly, but he had specifically included in his Christmas rosary intentions. The timing seemed too perfect to be coincidence. Third, and most significantly to Carlo personally, he experienced a deepening of his prayer life starting from that Christmas. He wrote that his daily rosary prayers after Christmas felt more powerful, more connected, more effective than they had before. Something shifted, he wrote. It's like the Christmas rosary opened a door that stayed open. These results convinced Carlo that he had discovered something real. The following year, Christmas 2005, he repeated the practice with even more intentionality. This time, he invited his mother to participate with her own rosary. Both of them placed their rosaries in the nativity scene on Christmas morning, prayed the Christmas rosary prayer, left them there all day, and prayed complete rosaries with them on Christmas night. The results were even more dramatic. Antonia later testified that the Christmas of 2005 was the most spiritually powerful Christmas their family had ever experienced. Several extended family members who had been distant from the church attended midnight mass and went to confession for the first time in years. A financial struggle the family had been facing resolved unexpectedly in early January, and both Carlo and his mother felt their relationship with Mary deepen significantly. Carlo died in October 2006, less than a year after his second Christmas rosary practice. But before he died, he told several people about this practice and encouraged them to try it. And in his journal, in one of his final entries, he wrote, "I hope people will discover what I discovered about Christmas and the rosary. There's so much grace available on that day that most people never access because they don't know how. If families would do what I did, I think it would change everything." If you're still watching, subscribe to this channel right now. We reveal practical spiritual practices that produce real results in real lives. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. So what exactly is Carlo's Christmas rosary practice, and how do you do it correctly? Let me break down the specific steps so you can implement this in your own home this December 25th. Step 1. Prepare your rosary on Christmas Eve. On December 24th, take the rosary you regularly pray with. This should be your personal rosary, not one you never use. There's spiritual significance to using the rosary you've already been praying with, as it carries the history of your prayers. Hold your rosary and pray this preparation prayer that Carlo wrote in his journal. Blessed Mother Mary, I consecrate this rosary to you for Christmas Day. Tomorrow we celebrate the moment when you gave birth to your son, when the Word became flesh in your womb. I ask you to bless this rosary with special Christmas grace. Tomorrow I will place it in the nativity scene to honor both you and your son. Bless it so that when I pray with it, it carries the power of Christmas, the power of the Incarnation, the power of your yes that brought salvation to the world. Mary, Mother of God, prepare this rosary for the special work it will do tomorrow. Amen. Step 2. Place your rosary in the nativity scene on Christmas morning. This is the crucial step that makes the practice work. On Christmas morning, as early as you can, place your rosary in your nativity scene in this specific way. Drape the rosary around the figures of Mary and baby Jesus, so the beads encircle them both. Position the crucifix of the rosary so it's touching or very close to the infant Jesus figure. The symbolism is important. The beads represent your prayers encircling Mary and Jesus, and the crucifix connects the beginning of Jesus' life, his birth, with the end, his death on the cross. If you don't have a nativity scene, you can create a simple one or use images of Mary and Jesus. The key is to position your rosary so it's honoring both the mother and the child on the day of his birth. Step 3. Pray the Christmas Rosary Prayer. Once your rosary is positioned in the nativity scene, kneel before it and pray this prayer that Carlo composed. Jesus, today we celebrate the day you entered our world through Mary. You, who are God, became a baby in a manger. You, who created all things, allowed yourself to be held by human hands. You, who are eternal, entered into time. This mystery is beyond my understanding, but I believe it and I worship you for it. Mary, today we celebrate your yes that made salvation possible. You gave your womb to carry God. You gave your body to nurse the one who feeds all creation. You gave your life to raise the one who raises all humanity. Thank you for your obedience that brought us Jesus. This rosary that I have placed around you and your son represents all my prayers, all my love, all my devotion. I leave it here today to absorb the grace of Christmas, to be blessed by your presence, to be touched by the power of the Incarnation. I ask that this rosary be filled with Christmas grace so that when I pray with it tonight, every Hail Mary will carry the power of this sacred day. I ask that through this rosary, you will intercede for my specific intentions. Name your intentions here. Jesus and Mary, I consecrate this Christmas day to you. Use this rosary as a channel of your grace into my life and the lives of those I love. Amen. Comment below if you're going to do Carlo's Christmas rosary practice this year. Public commitment strengthens your resolve and encourages others. Step 4. Leave the rosary undisturbed throughout Christmas Day. This is important. Once you've placed your rosary in the nativity scene and prayed the Christmas rosary prayer, leave it there. Don't touch it or move it throughout December 25th. Let it rest there, encircling Mary and Jesus, absorbing what Carlo believed was special Christmas grace. You can still pray other rosaries during the day if you want, but this specific rosary that you've consecrated and placed in the nativity stays in position all day long. Think of it as resting in the presence of Mary and Jesus, being blessed by proximity to the symbols of the Incarnation. Step 5. Retrieve your rosary after sunset. After the sun sets on December 25th, or after you return from Christmas Mass if you attend an evening service, you can retrieve your rosary from the nativity scene. Hold it with reverence. recognizing that you believe it's been blessed throughout the day. Before you pray with it, hold it to your heart and pray this retrieval prayer. Thank you, Jesus and Mary, for blessing this rosary throughout this sacred day. I believe that it has been touched by Christmas grace, that it carries the power of the Incarnation, that it's ready to be a more powerful weapon in my hands. I receive this rosary back with gratitude and with faith that my prayers through it will be heard and answered. Amen. Step 6. Pray a complete rosary on Christmas night. This is the culmination of the practice. On Christmas night, after you've retrieved your rosary from the nativity scene, pray a complete rosary with it. Carlo prayed all 15 decades, but you can pray 5 if that's your practice. As you pray, focus specifically on the joyful mysteries if it's Monday or Saturday, because these mysteries directly relate to Christmas. But whatever mysteries you pray, focus on your specific intentions. Carlo believed that the Christmas night rosary, prayed with a rosary that has rested in the nativity scene all day, carries exceptional power. Pour your heart into this rosary. Name your needs clearly. Ask for specific miracles. Intercede for specific people. This is the rosary that Carlo believed could change everything. Step 7. Continue praying with this rosary regularly. Don't put this rosary away after Christmas. Carlo believed that a rosary blessed through this Christmas practice carries that blessing forward. Continue praying with it daily or as regularly as you pray the rosary. It becomes, in a sense, your Christmas rosary that reminds you throughout the year of the grace you accessed on December 25th. Like this video and share it everywhere so families can prepare to do this practice before Christmas arrives. Your sharing could bring miracles to people who desperately need them. Now let me share testimonies from families who have practiced Carlo's Christmas rosary tradition and experienced documented results. These aren't third-hand stories. These are verified accounts from people who followed Carlo's practice and saw undeniable results. Maria Rodriguez from Spain learned about Carlo's Christmas rosary practice in 2020. Her husband had been diagnosed with a serious heart condition that required surgery, but the surgery was considered high risk. The doctors scheduled it for early January 2021. Maria decided to follow Carlo's practice on Christmas 2020. She placed her rosary in her family's nativity scene on Christmas morning, prayed the Christmas rosary prayer, left it there all day, and prayed a 15-decade rosary on Christmas night, specifically asking for her husband's healing. When her husband went for his pre-surgery exam on January 4th, the doctors were shocked. The condition that had required surgery had improved dramatically. The surgery was postponed for further monitoring. By March, it was canceled entirely because the heart condition had resolved itself. The cardiologist told them he had no medical explanation for the improvement. Thomas and Patricia O'Brien from Ireland had been trying to have a child for 7 years. They had gone through multiple rounds of fertility treatments without success. They were emotionally and financially exhausted, considering giving up. Patricia learned about Carlo's Christmas practice from a friend in December 2022. Both she and Thomas followed the practice on Christmas Day, each placing their own rosary in their nativity scene and praying together. They specifically asked Mary for the gift of a child, offering their Christmas rosaries for this intention. In February 2023, Patricia discovered she was pregnant naturally, with no medical intervention. Their daughter was born in October 2023. They named her Carlotta, the feminine form of Carlo, in thanksgiving. Michael Chen from Singapore had been estranged from his brother for 15 years over a family dispute. The relationship seemed irreparably broken.
Listen closely, for the path ahead is illuminated by possibilities beyond your current sight.
Michael's mother, a devout Catholic, learned about Carlo's Christmas rosary practice from a priest. On Christmas 2021, she followed every step of the practice, specifically praying for reconciliation between her sons. On December 28th, Just 3 days after Christmas, Michael's brother called him for the first time in 15 years. He said he'd been thinking about their relationship during Christmas and felt compelled to reach out. The conversation led to a meeting, which led to forgiveness, which led to full reconciliation. The brothers are now close again, all attributing the breakthrough to their mother's Christmas rosary prayer. Subscribe now for ongoing testimonies of practices that produce real miracles. We document what works, what transforms lives, what brings heaven to earth. Hit subscribe and ring that bell. So why does Carlo's Christmas rosary practice work? What's the theological and spiritual foundation that makes this more than just superstition or wishful thinking? First, Christmas Day is objectively significant in salvation history. It's the anniversary of the Incarnation, the moment when God became man. This isn't just a nice story we commemorate. It's the hinge point of all human history, the moment when divinity entered humanity. That moment carries spiritual weight that doesn't diminish over time. Second, the Rosary is specifically designed to meditate on the mysteries of Jesus' life, beginning with the Incarnation. When you pray the joyful mysteries, the first mystery is the Annunciation, the moment when Mary said yes and Jesus was conceived. The connection between Christmas and the Rosary isn't accidental. They're intrinsically linked. Third, Mary's role in the Incarnation makes her uniquely powerful on Christmas. She's the one who gave Jesus his human nature. She's the Theotokos, the God-bearer. On the day we celebrate Jesus' birth, honoring Mary through the Rosary connects to her maternal role in ways that are spiritually potent. Fourth, the symbolic act of placing the Rosary around Mary and Jesus in the Nativity creates a physical representation of prayer. The beads encircle them, representing how prayer surrounds and honors Jesus and Mary. The crucifix touching Jesus connects his birth with his death, recognizing that the baby in the manger was born to die on the cross for our salvation. Fifth, the act of leaving the Rosary in the nativity scene all day represents patient trust. You're not demanding instant results. You're allowing the Rosary to rest in prayer, to absorb the spiritual atmosphere of Christmas, to be blessed by proximity to the sacred symbols. Sixth, praying the complete Rosary on Christmas night with a rosary that has been consecrated and positioned this way creates a powerful combination of intention, symbolism, and actual prayer. You're not just thinking about prayer. You're actually praying intensely and specifically with a rosary you believe has been blessed. The combination of these elements creates what Catholics call a sacramental practice. It's not a sacrament itself, but it's a practice that draws on sacramental realities and creates conditions for grace to flow, like using holy water or wearing a blessed medal. Carlo's Christmas Rosary practice positions you to receive grace that's always available, but that you might not access without the practice. In the comments, commit to specific intentions you'll pray for if you do Carlo's Christmas Rosary practice. Writing them creates accountability and faith. Let me address potential objections or questions you might have about this practice. Is this superstition? No. Superstition is believing that objects or rituals have power in themselves apart from God. Carlo's practice isn't about the Rosary having magical power. It's about positioning yourself to receive grace through prayer, symbolism, and faith in God's generosity on Christmas. Does it only work on December 25th? The practice is specifically designed for Christmas Day because of the significance of that date. However, the principles could be adapted for other major feasts like Easter or the Assumption. But Carlo specifically tested it on Christmas, and that's where the documented results are. What if I don't have a nativity scene? You can create a simple one with printed images or purchase inexpensive figures. The important thing is having representations of Mary and baby Jesus that you can position your rosary around. Even a picture can work if you can arrange your rosary respectfully around the image. Can children do this practice? Yes. In fact, Carlo was 13 and 14 when he developed and practiced this. Teaching children this practice helps them understand the connection between Christmas and prayer in concrete ways. Let them participate fully. What if I forget and touch my rosary during the day? Don't worry about being perfectly scrupulous. The practice isn't about magic or strict rules. It's about intention and faith. If you accidentally move the rosary, just reposition it and continue with faith. Do I have to pray 15 decades on Christmas night? Carlo did, but you can pray 5 decades if that's your normal practice. The key is praying a complete rosary with intention and faith, not the specific number of decades. Carlo Acutis discovered something powerful about Christmas and the rosary that most Catholics never learn. He tested it practically, documented the results, and left instructions for others to follow. And since his death, families around the world who have followed his Christmas rosary practice report consistent results: healings, conversions, breakthroughs, and miracles. This December 25th, you have the opportunity to follow Carlo's practice, to consecrate your rosary on Christmas Eve, to place it in your nativity scene on Christmas morning, to pray the Christmas rosary prayer, to leave it there all day absorbing Christmas grace, to retrieve it with faith on Christmas evening, to pray a powerful rosary on Christmas night for your specific intentions, and to continue praying with that Christmas-blessed rosary throughout the coming year. The practice is simple. The theology is sound. The results are documented. All that's needed is your faith and your willingness to try what a teenage saint discovered works. May your Christmas this year be different from every Christmas before. May you access the special grace that Carlo believed is available on December 25th through the Rosary. May your specific intentions be heard and answered. May your family experience the power of connecting Christmas with the prayer Mary gave us. And may you discover, as Carlo did, that keeping your rosary in this specific way on December 25th truly releases supernatural grace that changes everything. The shocking revelation has been shared. Carlo's practice has been explained. December 25th is coming. The choice is yours. Will you try what Carlo discovered? Will you position your rosary to receive Christmas grace? Will you pray the Christmas rosary that Carlo believed could work miracles? The nativity scene is waiting. Your rosary is ready. Christmas is approaching. Follow Carlo's example. Practice what he taught. And see what happens when you keep your rosary this way on December 25th.